Welcome to the first episode of Series 86, everyone. This month, we have returning guest and possible real-life magical girl, Allison K. Cole, to learn about her online live-action RPG called Strangers on the Net. But before we get to that, we do have some calls to action coming up after the show. Here's what to expect. You can join me here after the show where we will have information about our next stream date on the One Shot Twitch channel, as well as information on our Patreon, how to leave a review for the show, and our patron thank yous as usual. With all of that out of the way, enjoy the show, everyone. Welcome to Character Creation Cast, a show where we discuss and create characters, the best part of role-playing games, with guests using their favorite systems. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan, and this episode, my co-host Amelia and I are excited to welcome back Allison K. Cole, creator of the game we are covering in this series, Strangers on the Net, an online live-action RPG where you play teenagers in 1989 who are extremely engaged in an online role-playing forum for their favorite fandom.
Welcome back to Character Creation Cast. I'm really excited to have you back. Like, this is going to be so much fun.
I'm so excited to be here as well, to be back, because the combination of your two interests is one of my favorite. So it's always fun to engage with.
Yeah. How long has it been? I feel like in my head, I'm like, it's been like 6 months or something. It's probably been like 2 years, right?
Well, we are currently in Series 86, and Alchemistresses came out, I believe it was in the 50s for a series number.
Series 50. I was like the 1950s. I was like, no, it wasn't any submission last year, Ryan. It wasn't that long ago.
That's fair.
Okay. Well, yeah, I mean, so I guess that's like 2 years, 2.5 years-ish, somewhere in there. Yeah. Wow.
You just blink and it goes by.
I know. Well, can you remind our audience your pronouns, who you are, what sort of things you do, where people can find you online, all of that good stuff?
Yes, of course. So my name is Allison, she, her pronouns. I do 2 major game things online. One is with Gal Pal Games, which I did Alchemistresses with my then girlfriend, now wife. That's how long it's been.
I know.
And I need you to tell our audience too, please tell us about the theme of your wedding, because our audience will care.
We did do a Sailor Moon themed wedding.
Okay. Yeah.
Just to let you know how invested we are.
Yeah.
So that's at Gal Pal Games. And then this game, I actually am the founder of a worker cooperative. So a worker-owned cooperative, and we do game stuff. And this game, Strangers on the Net, is by my co-op, which is Soft Chaos. If you look up Soft Chaos, you can find us all over Blue Sky. Softchaos.games is the website. So those are the 2 big things I do.
Excellent. Well, let's go ahead and get into this, and we'll start by discussing what this game is all about.
What's in a game?
Okay, Allison, what is the core concept of Strangers on the Net?
So the core concept of Strangers on the Net is that you are an angsty teenager in the year 1999, and it is all of the interactions that happen online in your favorite fandom-based roleplay server. And so you're going and being a teenager online in the 90s.
I mean, if you lived it, you know exactly.
Right. Yeah. It's like, right. So like our next question is like, tell us about the setting. So like the setting is the 90s, but like, so for some of our listeners who weren't on the internet in the 90s,
or even alive.
I know, alive in the 90s. Like, I wasn't like super on the internet. So like I was born in 88, but like, as we previously discussed off air, very sheltered. Like I was online a little bit. Like I was, like in some Star Wars forums and stuff like that, but like not like deep on the internet doing stuff. So like tell us about the internet in the 90s.
This is really, I have a nostalgic. I was born in 87, but I was very online. Part of it was I'm a military brat, and so we moved every couple of years.
Yeah.
So one of the only ways I had to stay connected to people was the internet at the time. I remember reading an Archie comic where they had like a video phone call in 1999, and I'm like, a video phone call? That's never going to happen.
Oh my God, can you imagine how grainy and slow and like...
You can't do that over a 56K modem.
How expensive?
There was just this time where you couldn't stay connected over long distances except through text. And the internet was wild for us because, or for me at the time, because before that it was letters, right? You had letters and you had to like physically mail them. If I had a friend I'm Canadian, if I had a friend in Manitoba where I used to live and I moved to Ontario, I would have to mail them a letter. So there is these spaces online where you can stay connected across distance. And there's also, my co-designers and I called it like a special kind of semi-anonymity because no one knew who you really were. And so this ties into the themes of the game, but lots of people pretended to be other people online, right? And so there were these spaces where you would go and you would have chats with people who didn't know who you were. I think anyone who's watched Catfish and been like, how have they not figured it out? You're like, oh, they were around in the 90s where you couldn't figure it out.
Right. It's so wild to me because now like I think about this like as a parent, and it was like the things that like people, you know, like my parents told me about being on the internet. They're like, never tell anyone your real name, never tell, you know. And now it's like, like you don't know who that person is, you know. You don't. It was like you can't trust like friends you made on the internet aren't real friends, and you know, like all of that kind of stuff. And it's like now I have people on the internet that I consider like my very, very good friends. Like I've never met in real life. I don't know if I ever will meet them in real life. Like, you know, it's so different. Like the things that, you know, our parents were telling us and, you know, like what it is for my kids now. You know,
it's like a complete reversal in some ways. Because back then you never revealed, like, don't show them pictures of you. Don't say your real name. Now it's the opposite, right? Like if someone doesn't
like
tell
Facebook,
you their real name.
Like, it is your real, like even that, it was like, it is your real name and it is your picture and it's weird if it's not.
So this game takes place there. And then the added layer is that this is stuff that still happens in certain corners of the internet, right? But there is a play-by-post role play of your favorite fandom. So you're going online and you're pretending to be a 1999 fandom. So you're pretending to be like a character from Buffy the Vampire Slayer or Sailor Moon or like one of the Final Fantasies that just came out, which I think was 7. That's not my area of expertise. But you're like pretending to be these characters on top of it. So that's kind of the world that you're living in.
Yeah. It was a place. It was a wild place. Like
it really was.
Like the lawless West, Wild West.
Right.
Early internet.
But like it wasn't as dangerous as society would have let you believe, right? It was just weird in a lot of places.
And if you met someone on the
anonymity was so new though. I think like that was what a lot of the fear was, is like you don't know. And now it's like we accept that we don't always know. And like
Do you think we just didn't always know because everybody was telling everybody, hey, don't reveal anything online, so nobody really did? And therefore...
like how much is this a self-fulfilling prophecy that every parent is like, you don't know who you could be meeting online, but also don't tell anyone who you really are. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, it's
Thanks,
good.
Mom.
My embarrassing Allison lore is that I met my first boyfriend in a Pokemon chat room. And like we met in real life when I turned 18, but we had met at the age of 13 in a Pokemon chat room.
Oh yeah.
You know.
And you wouldn't tell anyone. Like that is also something that's very different, is there was such a stigma about meeting a friend or a partner online at that time. Like,
yeah,
you wouldn't be like,
because it was like, ew.
Yeah. Well, like what you did online was like totally separate from real, like what you were doing in real life. Like you were two different people.
What a good observation, and very much what this game is about.
Yeah. So speaking
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so I am a little bit interested though when we talk about like, you know, sort of like play by post and that kind of thing, that like right now when we play these kinds of games, like, there are, you know, games that are made to be played in Discord servers and things like that. But that isn't, like obviously we weren't using Discord at that point. Like a lot of it was like a forum based kind of a thing, or I don't know, like where else were people? Forums are the only ones that I was really on.
Chat groups and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So there was some real time chat. There was some, MUDs as they called them, multi-user dungeons or something like that simulated role playing in a text-based thing. So there were some things available to do more real-time stuff. But yeah, forums, I would say, would probably be the biggest thing that people used for
this like just unlocked
play-by-post.
Core memory of like a forum that I used to be on. There was it was a Catholic homeschooled people forum. But these are people that like I still talk to. Yeah. Like as grown adults that like I still every so often like I follow them on Instagram and like all that kind of stuff. But like now we do know real names and where people live and stuff. But like obviously at that point you didn't. But yeah, I was like very involved there. Oh God, I'd totally forgotten about that.
Yeah, one of the things we do, a lot of the like rule book of this game is a facilitator's guide, and there's like a step-by-step how to set up your Discord server so it acts like a forum from the 90s. So there's like a play-by-post section and an IRC, like a little IRC, mock IRC chat so that people like gossip in the chat while people are doing their play-by-posts.
Oh, yeah. Because they do actually have a forum like channel now you can have in Discord.
Yeah.
Which is cool. So like you can set it up and have those multiple avenues. That's really cool.
Yeah.
So speaking of Discord and things that you need to actually play this game, what sort of materials do you need outside of the computer and access to something like Discord or Slack or whatever?
So for this game, essentially nothing. We recommend you put on a 1999 playlist to get you really in the mood. And the big constraint is that, like, in contradiction to a lot of games, this game is designed so that you cannot be in the same place. So you should be playing over the internet with people in lots of different locations. So as long as you have the Discord server, and we say Discord, we don't like necessarily say that's the only way to do it. You could actually set up, there are forums that you can set up like 90s forums now. They just take a lot of more time and effort, and most people have Discord. But that's all you get: your character sheet, you get your teenage angst, a 90s playlist, and your Discord server, and you're ready to go.
Oh.
Well, I was going to say it would be kind of awkward to sit around a table with everybody on their laptops just typing away in the Discord server. But I mean, they do have, was that Allison is Missing, which is a text-only RPG, right? And I've heard of people playing that in person over text.
Interesting.
So I don't want to say the word LARP because it scares people, but it's kind of like a LARP adjacent game, right? Because you're embodying the character you are. Like, I am a teenager sitting down at a computer in the 90s. So I really do like the idea of like, oh, maybe one of the characters is my IRL sister. In the, like, we'll talk about terms like IRL and OOC and stuff, but like maybe my character has a sister who's in the same house and we have to fight over the computer. So I'm only logged in for half the game and they're logged in for the other half of the game. Another thing about the 90s is you would be lucky if you're like, no houses had more than one computer, none that I knew of. So you and your siblings would have to, oh, wow.
My dad, like went to school for IT stuff and like would get like old computer parts from work. So like we all had our own computers that my dad had like cobbled together from random bits and stuff. So yeah, I am one of the few people out there that did in fact have my own computer in my room.
I had to fight my brother, or like we would sneak down at like 2 a.m. to the family computer in the living room to go in the chat room. But playing together in the same space, I think there are interesting like role play opportunities for it. But it could be awkward, which is not always bad.
No, that's a little bit of that bleed is fun sometimes.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so we've talked about the fact that this is like in 1999. So one of our questions on here is like, what kind of stories and themes is this meant to explore? And I'm feeling like the 1999 is important. Like, why 99 and not another year?
So we picked it for a couple reasons. One of them, just so everyone knows, there's a big Act 2 spoiler. We won't go into it. One of them involves that Act 2 spoiler. A second one, is that people love talking about Y2K when they're role playing in the 90s. And so it really gives people something to grasp onto, like this fear of the future, this fear of technology. But more generally, this game is a lot about the experience, but the whole team who designed it is queer. The team is primarily trans, and it's about that online anonymity and being able to like experiment with and try on identities in a space where people like don't know who you are and they're not going to like call you on it, right? Like if in my daily life I am closeted, I can just be super gay and out on my server. Or if in my life people treat me as a woman, but I feel more comfortable presenting as a man, I got this space online where I could play with that. So like one of the big themes and stories that we're really passionate about this telling, and we come from a queer angle, but I think it really just applies to teenagers who don't yet know who they are, trying on different parts of themselves in a way that like that 90s anonymity helped. And I'm sure people still do it online, but there's always that fear that like someone can find who I really am that we didn't have in the same way back then, because there was this larger wall. I mean, like you were saying, between who I am online and who I am in the real world. Like there's a wall between those two things. Right. Never the two shall meet was like a big vibe.
Yeah. I think about that one personally a lot because I am 11 years older than my sister, and then my sister is 11 years older than my oldest daughter. And so just like I like looking at these like different milestones in life, and I remember my sister coming home in middle school and being so upset because people would message her on Kik. And like all of the bullying problems that she'd have at school, she'd still have when she came home. And I remember being like, this is so wild to me. That was like, I was bullied horribly in middle school. And it's like, you know, part of the reason that like my parents ended up pulling me out of school and all of that kind of stuff. And I remember being like, but at least when I went home, it was over. And I was like, and now people can find you like wherever you are and still bother you. And then I look at my daughter now, who like is totally open and like out to her friends and has friends now that like she's known since kindergarten that now are like had just moved across the country, but they still get together multiple times a week to like do stuff in Minecraft and like just like the evolution of all of those things and like the difference in identity and who you are. And, you know, because I remember thinking, watching my sister get bullied, like when I got home, I got to be whoever I wanted to be because I stopped like putting on the mask of like being this weird undiagnosed ADHD kid who's like trying to hold it together all the time at school. And then I could go home and be like as weird and nerdy as I wanted. And then like watching my sister not have that like line. And then to the point where now my kids like, it's swung almost like entirely another way where it's like they can be themselves all the time, even online. Like it's a very weird juxtaposition and just like evolution over time.
No, and yes, that's exactly something that's wild to watch. And when I think back to my time in the 90s and my other co-designers were like, back then, it was completely, like, it made sense. Now you watch Catfish and you're like, oh, someone doesn't send you a picture. That's really suspicious. But back then, you might have a grainy webcam, maybe, or like a really bad digital camera. So, like, I'm a fat person who was teased about it in middle school. I have some of the co-designers are like racialized people that are treated a certain way because the minute they're seen, certain biases come into play. And then if you go online, you can get home from school, be done with that teasing, and you can go online and you can make it clear that you're fat or racialized if you want to engage with that part of your identity. But also you could just not say anything and you will be assumed to be like an average white person, an average straight white person, and you will be able to step away from that. And that creates complicated feelings too, right? Like I can disassociate from these parts of myself online if I want. Wow, that experience is so different. If someone thinks I'm white or thinks I'm straight or thinks I'm thin, they treat me so differently. And it can be enjoyable. It can be complicated. And we've seen people have all sorts of different play experiences when revisiting that with the lens of age, right? Being like, oh, what would youth have been like? But it doesn't follow you. You are a different person. Today, I feel comfortable engaging with my marginalized identities. So I log in with one username. Tomorrow, I want to just be the cool, pretty girl who all the boys flirt with, even though at the time I didn't know I was gay, right? I log in with a different username. And so you can try things on and experiment and not have to carry that back and forth with you.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's the other thing too is that like, you know, like you could shed your username like skin. Like it was just, you know, because like now so much of what we do is, you know, like obviously like I had like 4 different Twitter accounts that I used for different things. You know, it's like 3 of them for podcasts and then another one for this and, you know, like whatever. So like you could do that, but it's like so much is tied to your name and everything too that like you only have credibility with one of them. Really. And it was like you could you know, like I like AIM screen names I had like 4 or something that it was like for different friends and different, you know, fandoms and different things. Like you just be like, who do I want to be today? And you could just do that.
Absolutely. I was big into an online like quote unquote RPG for Cadia back in the 90s and where you play as different animal characters. And I had 2 or 3 different characters that I played in that because I tried to play a storyline in this like very open-ended game whose sole purpose was to create worlds that you can upload to the game itself. So like most of my time was spent building these cool, elaborate worlds and all that stuff. But then I wanted to play an actual RPG in this thing that doesn't have any mechanics whatsoever to play an RPG. So it was fun to be able to go around as different characters and stuff like that and talk to people and play as different people online, and nobody had a clue that it was the same person behind the thing. Makes me wonder what playing a game like this would be like in a Discord as 2 separate accounts, but the same person behind them.
Oh, yeah, because you could be logged in on one thing on your phone and like another thing on your computer, and you could be talking to yourself if you wanted.
As far as I know, it's never happened, but I would never know if it did.
No, because it's supposed to be secretive, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. That's so cool. So as people playing people on a forum, what do you do as your character in this game?
Yeah, as a person playing a person who's playing a person.
Yeah. I was gonna say I had mentioned before we started that we had gotten media coverage before, and the article is titled "I pretended to pretend to be someone from Star Trek Online" was like the title of the article, and I was like, yes. Is it all right if I'm going to introduce a tiny bit of language that we use in the character sheets just to help? So we think of each person as having kind of 3 layers to their identity. And the first we call their teenager IRL, or their IRL teenager. For those who may not, I don't know if that's still in common parlance, but IRL is in real life. So that's like your character, who they are in the physical world outside of the online game. So I could be a 16-year-old girl named Stephanie who lives in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Then there's your online teenager. And this is the image that your teenager presents online. So maybe Stephanie is 16, but thinks it's cooler to say that she's 17. And like thinks it's cooler to say
17 is much cooler. So
much. You're like getting up there. Yeah.
I'm like thinking about it. I'm like, if I'm like 16 and I'm like from Menominee Falls, but I'm like, I'm going to say I'm from Milwaukee, even though at one point I lived in a house where like this side of the street was Menominee Falls and this side was Milwaukee, but like Milwaukee sounds cooler.
Yeah. So like, you're like, I used to, not outing myself, but be like, I'm from like New York or like some cool city. That's a red flag. If someone's like, I'm this cool person from New York, you're like, are you? But so that's your teenager online, right? It's the image that your IRL teenager projects to the online world. And then the last thing is your role play character. So that is the character in the fandom that you are responsible for role playing in play by posts.
Okay.
So you asked what you do, and I gave these terms that
a lot.
The main structure of the game is that each player is pre-assigned relationships with other players in the game. So they have a primary relationship, and that is their scene partner for play-by-post role plays. So if I am playing Steph, who plays Buffy the Vampire Slayer in this forum, I get paired with another character who's playing Faith. These are all just examples. Then the main structure of the game is we get a focus scene where we play together in the play-by-post. And before that scene starts, we describe what the scene is, and then we describe a question that we have about not our roleplay character's relationship, but our relationship. So maybe Steph and her scene partner are dating in the forum. And so they roleplay a scene between Faith and Buffy that kind of answers a question about the relationship. Like, does Steph actually like her roleplay partner would be like the question. And then through that play by post, you answer that question. So that's one of the main things you do. So you're kind of the star of the game for that moment. And while that's happening, everyone else is gossiping about you in the back channels. So everyone is like, like, oh my God, Faith and Buffy, like usually they do makeout role plays in the play by post, but today they're doing a fight. Like, do you think Steph and her girlfriend are having problems? Or like, oh my God, did you hear, like, oh my God, she spelled that with a U instead of an O. I don't think she's from Brooklyn. Maybe she's from Canada. So there are all these other channels where people can do direct messages one-to-one to gossip, or like little chat rooms that are like small groups. So you have that play-by-post question that is helping your character develop and answer like their identity questions and their relationship questions, and everyone else is doing drama in the background. So that's kind of the main actions of the game.
That's so good.
There's so much. There's so many layers.
It's just like, I'm like, that's just what I did when I was 13, and I loved it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing is that, like, I think that there are going to be so many of our listeners who are like, oh, yeah, totally. I, like, right there, been there, done that, you know? But also, like, when you start to, like, pull it back and you're like, okay, I need to make mechanics for these things that I used to do, you're like, oh, wow, this actually, like, is really complicated. You're like, all of the things that I did every day after school, actually really difficult to gamify.
And to describe, you're like, oh, after school, I pretended to be, like, it's so weird to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's deep. So I want to ask, usually we phrase it as like, what is unique about this game? And obviously I think that there's a lot. But I'm kind of curious, like, why would you make a game about, not like, why would you make a game about this? But like, you know, I mean, like something that, first of all, it does feel sort of like, you know, kind of a little bit frozen in time, right? Like in this sort of 90s situation, but also like online interactions, and especially like with Discord and things like that, is something that we're all doing very, very regularly now. So what kind of prompted you to want to make a game about it? What prompted you to want to like kind of set it in that particular era of online role-playing, that kind of thing?
So I have two answers that are a little, the first one is that this game was actually, we started development on it almost exactly 5 years ago. And if you do some math, you'll know exactly when almost exactly 5 years ago was.
Okay. Dear listeners, in case you're not looking at the date of this and you're listening to it far in the future, that was the pandemic. So we were all sitting inside role playing on our servers because we were home and couldn't talk to real people.
Yeah, so it was June of 2020 when we started doing this. And we might go into this later if we talk about the history of the game, but we, a lot of theater festivals in Canada were pivoting online and wanted like weird experimental things that they could do online. And so they were open to what we were calling an interactive, immersive 90s chat room experience.
Nice.
And so we did that. And that's how one of the ways it started. And then the thing that's kept us going, and we waited a long time. We've been working on it in the background, but we waited until we felt it was right. It's just the response we've gotten from people. Oh, you two don't know this. But I actually met Dora, my wife, when she volunteered to playtest this game through a personal ad. And then she flirted with me in character so hard that 5 years later we got married.
That you like had a minute where you're like, wait, is this also IRL?
That's true bleed.
It was the bleediest bleed.
Is it IRL or IRL?
Yeah, right?
Because you gotta peel back multiple layers at that point.
We have there's this. The letters OOC mean out of character. And so if you set up the server according to the game, there's an OOC channel, and then there's an OOC no actually for real channel. And that's where you do your like actual out of character talk. But we had people just respond in such intense emotional ways. And a lot of these people were people who had never role played before. They were people who go to theater festivals. And so it was really wonderful. So that's one. And then how did it end up being this exact thing? Is that I love Charmander31's chat room. Shout out. That was where I went when I was 13. And they had kept that website server and chat room up, I think, until 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And so it was dead. Like, no one was on there. But what would happen is once about a year while I was in grad school, I would mass blanket email out an invite, and I would ask everyone to come to this chat room. I'd put like a 4-hour window on it, and you showed up and you just pretended it was the 90s, and you never told anyone what your username was. So I sent it to all my friends, my cohorts in my grad school class, and they could pass it on to their friends too. And
Oh,
so
wow.
like for 4 hours, I used to do it for my birthday. For 4 hours, people would show up, role play like it was 1999 and leave, and I would never know who they were.
Who you'd been talking
Wow.
to. Oh my
It
god.
is like the true masquerade of the 90s.
That's so fun though. Like that is like you're right, that's like the best masquerade ball you could possibly throw.
And I'd be like trying to figure it out kind of, and that I loved those so much. It was like, there's something here, and people would come. Like, I don't know who they were, my friends, friends, strangers, who knows, but people would come. And I was like, I want to capture this and structure it and send it out into the world.
Yeah. Oh,
Wow.
that's so much fun.
It feels like you could make a hack of this game to play out masquerade balls where the point is to try to figure out who's who at this ball.
That probably is a game already.
I'm like, this feels
like somebody's made that game.
We're doing I'm gonna get the name wrong, to like prop up someone else, but I run monthly LARPs here, and we're doing something called Ultimate Decision Prom of Destiny, which is a magical girl prom where half the people are magical girls and half are mascots, and they come in their civilian identities, and they have to try and pair up with like the best magical girl or mascot for them at this prom party. So,
oh my god,
amazing!
That's so good.
Should look up that game if it sounds interesting to other folks.
Yeah.
It's so good. Well, we covered quite a bit about the history of the game. This is the section where we usually talk about that and say, hey, it's been out since this long and so on and so forth. How long did it take from initial concept to like playable form before it was like, yeah, this is playable now?
So blessed be being locked in your apartment with nothing to do 24/7. That helped. But I think it took like a month before we started playtesting. And then we put up personal ads and started playtesting, and it was probably a couple more months. And then we did it. I mentioned we got in a like national level theater festival. We got covered by CBC Arts, which is the national level arts. And they're like, they said that the festival we were in was one of the best things, top 10 things to do in Canada this week. And our specific game was mentioned, like called out by name. So we got a bunch of stuff. I know, it was like one of the coolest things that's happened. And so then after that, I would say it was playable, but we've kept working on it and we've kept going. We've probably done 4 to 7, maybe like 7 theater runs or festival runs since then. So if you know Indiecade, we did like a run with Indiecade. We did a run with the Queerness in Games Festival. We've had like pride organizations in cities. So we did one for our local pride festival. We ran the game of it for them. So we've been like going to festivals and running it. And every time I think it's gotten better. So
yeah.
Very nice.
Well,
I know that.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, at what point were you like, okay, this needs to like be written down and like produced, because it's going to be kickstarting, right? Is that?
It's on GameFound. Okay.
So like, at what point were you like, this is like a thing I want it out in the world so like other people can start, I'm always really curious about like when people put their art out into the world and are like, be free. Like it's so scary.
Yeah. And it's so much more work to like make something that other people could run than to just run it yourself.
That's true too, because in your head, you're like, all of this makes sense to me, but you're like, now I have to put it on paper for other people to understand what I'm trying to say.
And the game is run by 2 facilitators. The facilitators are essentially players, but they're players who make sure that everyone else has a good time, right? Yeah. So like when we do a theater run, 2 of our co-op members play as like the server owner and the mod, right? So you have characters you play. And so we intuitively know what to do with that. We know how to make a narrative arc. We know, but like writing that all out in instructions is so challenging. I think we were like I don't know exactly, 3 or 4 festival runs in, when we were like, we love this. And again, people have told us they love it, and we are exhausted. It is so tiring to run. So the only way for people to experience this is if we take the time to like write out a 20-page script. And a lot of the book is like, we have written a script that hopefully makes running the game completely accessible for someone who's never run a game like this before. Like, you can copy and paste blocks of text into Discord, or if you are experienced, you can customize it yourself. But I think that was the point. And then just remembering all those grad school nights and like, people just should do this. It just feels good to try on an identity for a while and then have feelings about it and leave.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, this episode is going to be releasing early August. So when is the Kickstarter then going to be starting? Or the crowdfunding campaign?
Yeah.
When's that going to be starting?
Oh, another reason why we're doing, so we've had this game done-ish for a while. I mentioned this before. We had a tiny grant to do a tiny print run. We didn't have enough money to, like, for example, get a layout artist to do a good layout pass instead of just my layout pass. And one of the reasons we chose now is because we got accepted into something called RPG Party at GameFound. So GameFound selected 20 small creators that they think have cool projects and are going to support them through a campaign. And so that's going to be end of August, beginning of September. The preview page is already up, so you can follow it. But the exact date is going to depend on those 20 folks and how they want to schedule them. But yeah, so we're going to be doing it then.
That's very cool.
That's exciting.
I think so too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious too, and maybe, I don't know if this is better for like the discussion portion, but like the grant process and stuff too. Maybe we should talk about that in our discussion portion.
Yeah, I will talk about being Canadian.
I'll make a note. Yeah. Yeah. I'd love to hear it. Being Canadian, honestly, right now sounds great. Would love to try it. Before we dive into like actual character creation and that kind of stuff, though, are there some more terms or concepts that you think that people should know just in order to follow along?
So I think the big thing is that character separation, and then talking about OOC, out of character. IC means in character. IRL means in real life. So these are all terms that were pretty common in the 90s. We give like a little like language guide in the book being like, here are things you say.
Yeah,
but aside from
lingo.
that, you have to know when someone says BRB, got to know what that means.
Yeah.
Right.
But I think we've covered the main ones, and I had to talk about what you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it seems like a lot of the language is kind of spelled out as we go through, like for the different sections for your character creation. So that should be pretty easy to cover in the moment.
Okay.
Amazing. Well, are we ready to make some people and then make some people from those people and then make some people from those people from those people?
People making people. Let's do it.
Let's make some people.
Okay. Allison, what is the first step that we need to take care of to start making our characterception for strangers on the net?
So the first step is something that you kind of would do as a group before a game starts. So for this, because you're going to all have relationships to other characters, my thought, and you can tell me what you think about this, is we're going to essentially treat them as NPCs, but know that in a real game, your elaborate relationship map would tie to other real people.
Yes.
But the first thing we need to decide, because we're a fandom-based forum in 1999, what fandom? So there are a couple constraints that we like to put on it. They're not big ones, but number one, ideally, your fandom will have an ensemble cast because you'll play with 6 to 8 people. So you want everyone to have a character and not have to be like, oh, that background character from episode 52, unless they want to be that background character from episode 52, which is also gone really well. But you want everyone to have the option of being like a main character.
Like the Star Wars guy with the ice bucket.
One time we had someone play like a Team Rocket grunt.
I want to be Elon Sleaze Pagano.
But it's up to you.
Yeah.
What 90s fandoms?
I mean, that's the thing is like, so like what 90s fandoms do we all know enough about? to do this. Is really,
and I want to
think, our
say,
major constraint here.
I had mentioned that we had done this as theater runs before, so we had to design it assuming people would come in with no knowledge of the fandoms.
Mhm.
So this game right now, because we're going to be building it right on the spot, you probably want some passing knowledge. But there in the guide, there's like, okay, so if you've never watched Pokemon the anime before, the facilitator usually will be like, okay, you're playing Squirtle, watch this one Squirtle Squad episode. That will give you enough. Or like, oh, you're playing Buffy, here's a 5-minute Buffy plot compilation video to go through. So that's kind of something that we have done, because you can't, especially in like a theater run where people are not as dorky as maybe TTRPG people are, you can't assume acquaintances with material.
Yeah.
But right now, it's probably not going to be Street Sharks. But what?
No. I mean, I vaguely
it's
remember.
definitely not going to be TMNT.
No, it's
Biker
not.
mice
I
from
swear to
Mars?
God, if it's TMNT, I will murder you. Ooh. Okay, so like right away, I'm like thinking about like this part of my life, and I was like super into Lord of the Rings at this point, but that movie didn't come out until 2001, so like that's not going to work. Because like I read it like as the movie was coming out and everything, but like, you know.
But like the books are still the fandom, right?
Right. I think I know too many people in real life who are like Tolkien people, though, that I'm like, I can't even pretend.
They're gonna hurt some
like academic level Tolkien people. Yeah.
I'm like, I don't even.
It would be very embarrassing.
Like, there's
for
part of
us
me
to
that would like to pretend I don't even know anything about it, because I'm like, anything I say is probably gonna be wrong. Even though I love it, and I just read the books not that long ago. But
one of our favorite things to say about this game, by the way, like, because again, we've been telling people who don't role play, is that like, if you say something embarrassing or cringe, or you make a mistake, or you do typos, or your prose is really bad, you're a teen online in the 90s.
Oh my God,
those are all just in character. Like, so you never have to feel bad about anything you write, because a teenager in the 90s would have written it worse or cringier.
Oh, yeah.
So,
and
like,
would
don't
not
feel
have
like
felt bad about it. Would have felt so
yeah,
good
exactly.
about
They
it
would have been like, I'm so
That's
cool.
True.
Right. I'm amazing. I'm absolutely crushing it. Let's see here.
Because I mean, there's quite a few different Star Treks potential.
Yeah, I don't know anything about the Star Treks.
Right. There's obviously Star Wars is
That's the thing.
is a big one.
I do know some things about Star Wars.
We do know quite a bit. Even if like we weren't watching that much cultural osmosis.
I think the other thing about Star Wars too is that like there are so many novels that like basically no matter what you say, it did happen somewhere. That's like the beauty of Star Wars, is like there's so much there. I do know about Pokemon. I do know about Yu-Gi-Oh!
There was a lot. Yu-Gi-Oh! Would be a
pretty
fun
good one.
Yeah.
I'm also looking up, I think the Phantom Menace came out, because I'm Googling right now because I know this. In 99.
It was in 99. Yeah.
So that's also good. But yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is great. We have done Pokemon before. Any of these tickle your fancy with the knowledge that you'll have to use them as metaphors for your angsty teen self. They all work.
Yeah. I don't know if I remember enough about Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh.
Like I remember how to play the card game. That's information that I have held on to somehow. It has not served me well as an adult, actually. Turns out.
I remember very little about Yu-Gi-Oh! As well, honestly.
All right, Yu-Gi-Oh's off the table. We
and
have
there's
remaining
also the option that
Pokemon.
we often do on this show, which is to just make things up entirely, like that one where we had to play a sport and we just made up a sport.
That's
also
true.
Possible.
You know, and then anything we say about this fandom is true.
I
don't know Phantom Menace well, but I've pulled up a Wikipedia article so I can support you.
Okay.
If that's the way we go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also like all the original Star Warses were out at that point, so
it is true.
Yeah.
You know,
this is the big question.
Special editions, even too, I believe at that point.
For sure.
So you would have all of that back knowledge. I'm going to say I'm feeling a leaning towards Star Wars and vibes.
Star Wars has like the most potential for knowledge between us, I believe.
Yeah.
But is that the fandom we want to?
option.
Exactly.
So like I
mean,
did
there's-
watch Buffy. I didn't watch it until I was on maternity leave after I had Kate. Like that's what I did with my 6 weeks off work, was watch Buffy.
That's such a smart thing to do.
It was primo like Netflix time because you're up with a baby all the time. So did a lot of streaming. With the second child, I figured out how to hold a video game controller while I was nursing a baby. And so I got a lot of video games, and that was also great.
Yeah. I mean, there's also Xena the Warrior Princess.
I don't know anything about that.
Oh.
And Hercules, the Legendary Journey.
We've done
I
a
know a lot about Hercules,
final,
the Disney movie.
Oh, right.
which also might have
But
been.
I mean, it's based off of all the Greek mythology stuff,
Yeah,
right?
for
So
sure.
like anything Greek mythology.
That involves too many men for me to have paid that much attention to it, honestly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Xena had a lot more women-centric
Yeah, but I did-
storylines
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Also, Hercules, the Disney movie, came out in 1997, so could be an option.
Yeah.
Disney fandom?
Ew,
Is this
no,
like,
no.
Kingdom Hearts. Was that in the 90s?
Kingdom. I believe it might have been,
I've never
honestly.
played in Kingdom Hearts either. My God. See, like this is where it's really difficult to be friends with me because I just don't know anything about anything.
All right. I'm gonna say
so far I think like Star Wars and Yu-Gi-Oh are the only ones we really come up with that like we know anything about, and Pokemon.
yeah, I was gonna
yeah.
I'm gonna put a weird Pokemon on out there. So Pokemon is actually interesting. We've run series in it before because a lot of the characters are like essentially blank slates, right? Like if you're playing, some of this is gonna
You're
sound
like
so
a 10-year-old
nerdy.
that like went off on your own, and that's like about all anyone knows about you.
But we played a game where like someone was playing Psyduck, but they were playing a boy Psyduck, and they're IRL a trans woman who was having complicated feelings about that, and like that was they were just doing it through a Psyduck, right? Because Psyduck is like a blank slate. They just got to go Psy-yi-yi a lot. So Pokemon have blank slates, which is interesting. Buffy,
They do only say their name. That is one interesting.
it makes
fact
role-playing
about Pokemon.
so hard,
So easy.
but so interesting.
Oh, no.
Well, and if you picture, we had a Jesse and James pair in that run too, and Jesse and James are like really good characters. So if you know anything about them, they could be a good, because you two are gonna be in our character creation, the server owners, the people who founded the server. So you might also want to think about characters that have good relationships. Jesse and James are what I've seen go really well in the past. Ash and his Pikachu are a good pair.
Interesting.
And Buffy has
think
been
about like playing a Pokemon. I was like people in Pokemon, but I didn't even like occur to me that you could just like be a Pokemon.
Oh, you could be a Pokemon. Pikachu,
Yeah.
Pikachu, said Pikachu, thinking deeply about his childhood. It's like Buffy has traditionally been a big hit with queer metaphor-loving folks for who knows what reason.
I don't know who could say.
And see, I've only seen the movies.
All right.
Or movie. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm going to execute a decision and you can fight me. But I think I'm going to Pokemon you two up. Does that, no? It looks like you want to fight me.
I'm like so on Pokemon. I think partly because in my real life, I'm really Pokemoned out because
I'll give
my
you
daughter
that.
is very into Pokemon. Not that I don't have like Pokemon cards sitting right in front of me right now, because I do. Because I have Flamigo. Flamingos are my favorite animal. So my children have gifted me 2 Flamigo Pokemon cards. But Flamigo is not part of the original 151 either. So
it is not.
And we're like
problem too.
kind of flexible, but not that flexible. Like we're like when people are role playing and they do something anachronistic, we're like it's fine.
Right.
Who knows?
Yeah, but like
Do
we're
you know
not in the era of Pokemon where we have the Pokemon that look like people and it creeps me out.
Yeah. No. Except Mr. Mime.
Yeah. Yeah, that's different. Mr. Mime's sexy.
All right.
There's also the hit TV show Sliders.
I don't know what that is.
X-Files is also one that people...
X-Files. Okay. No? Okay. What else we got?
I'm trying to think like what TV shows like did I watch? And the answer is probably none of them. Oh my God. This is like really hard actually.
I know this is a challenge. We can, if we wanted to do a fake media, we could, but then we also have to create that world first.
Right.
Because we need it to then
I'm like,
take
what
relationships.
things was I into? Like, I read a lot of American Girl books. Ryan, are you familiar with the American Girl series?
I am not. No.
Oh my God.
Allison, from you
Not
in
even a
Canada,
little
are
bit.
you super familiar with the American Girls?
I've in passing, no.
Yeah.
I was gonna say in the game, they're actually in the rule book. There's a scenario for this. They're like, if you can't decide on a fandom, though I don't think it's good for this. They're like, play a game of Microscope and make your own fandom up, or like play a world building game and make your own fandom up and then play with it.
Yeah.
But I'm like, we're already creating characters and characters and characters. Oh, it'd be so meta to then also have a fandom.
What about like Indiana Jones?
I know.
I mean, yeah, like the thing is, like, I feel like I don't need to know like all that much about Indiana Jones because it takes place like in the real world. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's fair.
It's real world,
but it's like archaeologist, like history, but like also fighting Nazis. But like
also the big one we didn't bring up is Sailor Moon has been played before, of course.
Yeah. Of course.
I don't know.
But,
I mean,
yeah.
I shouldn't say I know nothing about Sailor Moon. I know. I know that they sailor and I know they moon. Like.
Yep.
Okay. Awesome. All right.
Yeah, I've like managed to pick things up about Sailor Moon, but not.
I'm pulling up Indiana Jones.
I mean, we could always do a made-up anime series that is necromantic magical girls that took place in the 90s.
Done. Does that sound?
I mean, let's do it.
Too on brand. We're gonna see.
I mean, like, let's do it because I think that like we know all the tropes of those things, right? Like we know all the tropes of like dark magic necromancy. We know all the tropes of magical girls. Mm-hmm. So I don't think that like that requires a ton of world building. You know,
I'm excited. You are gonna have to create some of the fake characters from this show, which I'm actually kind of excited about.
Yeah.
Have some role play. All right, great. Before we go. This is the pressure. Give me a title. Give me a title of your fake 90s anime.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
Where's the one like memo in my phone, Ryan, that I like the one that I don't know what it means? You know what I'm talking about?
I do remember you talking about this multiple times.
Let me find it. One relic's return to righteousness. This is a random note on my phone that it has no additional text. It just is the words one relic's return to righteousness.
Done.
And I don't know what it's from. It was made on January 23rd, 2023.
It was for this moment. It was one relic's return to righteousness is the anime from the 90s. Yeah. That featured necromantic magical girls fighting for the side of good.
I love it so much.
Question mark.
Finally, my one random like insomnia haze, like, because that's probably what it was. You know.
Amazing. No, I love that. And I will put fighting for the side of good question mark. I'm taking notes while we do this so that I have it ready when we do the further straight stuff. So that's the big first question. So now we know our fandom. If we like, when you run this game and you facilitate it, there's a little survey you send out ahead of time to give people, and there's a lot of like consent and not just safety mechanics, but like opt-in mechanics. So it's like, what types of relationships do you not want? And like, what types of relationships excite you? And what types of themes? So I'm going to read a list to you. Yeah. This is in the rule book near the end. There's like a survey, but we had sent this ahead of time. One of the interesting things about this is the game, like we said, is about trying on identities. And what we found is like queer folks are much more willing to be like, I'm excited about role-playing homophobia in the 90s because I want to like confront that. Like people are often really interested in confronting their own marginalizations through the safe lens of like a wacky online game. So we send this out to everyone, and then we pair relationships up based on the themes that they want to deal with. Because a lot of it happens in private chat. So say, Ryan, you're like, I want to deal with homophobia. And Amelia, you're like, I don't. Then I could pair you, Ryan, in a relationship where you in private chat could deal with that. And Amelia would never have to see it. So that's one of the things we do. So if it's cool, I'm going to, I actually don't know a verbal way to do this, but I was going to read one and then you could either like thumbs up, thumbs down, or like,
I feel like we can just say it, and we can sort of assume that, like, you know, we would not be doing that in real life, but, you know, for our listeners to be able to like play along. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
On Character Creation Cast, where we don't actually play the characters, we actually role play the character creation process.
Right.
How meta how many levels can you make it?
Right.
So would you be interested in role-playing racism?
No.
No.
All right. Sexism.
Maybe.
Yeah.
You could say, like,
Maybe.
you don't have to, your answer does not have to depend on mine. If your answer is no, then it's no.
Yeah. No, I'm wishy-washy on that one too.
All right.
Because like that's kind of a big trope of the 90s magical girl shows a lot too, is like fighting against sexism and overcoming that as young women.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like it doesn't have to be all negative, right? It's just these themes can show up in an empowering way too. Again, okay, homophobia.
I'm not really interested in that.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Transphobia.
No.
Nah.
Don't need it.
Fat shaming.
No.
Nah.
Dealing with mental health struggles.
I am okay with that.
Yeah.
Predatory online relationships.
No.
No.
That's the one that has been the most in all of our runs of this.
Yeah.
Oppressive belief systems.
Yeah. I'm okay with that because I feel like even
I'm okay with
capitalism
it,
is
too.
an oppressive belief system.
It is true.
So,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
you know, I mean, I feel like we have to have something to fight against.
The most oppressive
Right.
of.
We also have, like, if this were a safety consent server, we have like a little thing where you can be like, I'd like to write more comments about it. How do you feel about ableism?
That's a hard maybe. Ableism. Yeah. I don't know. Like,
mostly neutral.
yeah. Like I'm not looking for it. If it comes up, I'm not like hard no, but like I'm not looking for it in my game.
No. And that's important to know because like we can center relationships around it, or we can be like, oh, the 90s were ableist in these ways and we want them to exist in our world so that we can talk about them. We have a whole section in the book about gender and sexuality this way, right? Because there are terms that queer people even used in the 90s as an empowering term that no longer are in good use. And so we have, we wrote a section about this linked to Wayback Machine articles from queer folks at the time being like, you might want this in your game if you feel safe and we found it useful, but also you might not. So maybe the ableism is not central to our story, but if it comes up in the 90s way, we can then address it and talk about how it has changed.
Yeah, and I imagine for a lot of people, it sort of depends too. Like, do I know the people I'm playing with? Do I know, you know? I mean, it's like any safety thing. It's like, there are things that I'm willing to explore with my friends that I'm not going to play in games with strangers, you know?
Yeah. Some people are very brave going to like a random theater festival, and I'm like, wow.
More power to you, I guess.
And then we have these as general, and then if you want to specify other things that, like more specifically, you would or would not want to play for sexual content. So how steamy do you want your role plays to get is a question.
Yeah.
Medium spice.
Yeah. It's like we'll fade to black, but we can lead up to it, I think. I say as if we're going to play this game.
I know. I'm creating the characters as if we are going to play.
I know, like we're going through all of our safety rules and we're like, yeah, for sure. Like, no, never going to happen. But yeah, that seems reasonable to me.
And this will help us pick the relationships. Because you're hypothetically the server moderators, so you have a little bit more control over everyone's relationships. And how graphic do you want your violence to get in this magical girl anime?
Super is fine with me.
Yeah. I mean, I can say the rule that I always say, which is I don't care how graphic it is, just don't tell me what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I don't want sounds.
So what we're going to do is we're going to build relationships in this game that deal with sexism and then ambiently mental health issues, which are, at least for me, were a giant part of being angsty online in the 90s at the age of 13. There might be ambient ableism. We're going to go medium spice on the sexual content and super graphic on the violence. And so then that's going to be kind of the foundation for that relationship.
It sounds very much like the foundation of the show that we just came up with.
Yeah, it does.
It is really, it's thematic.
I don't know what you're talking about. That show's been on for 12 seasons.
Yeah, what do you mean just came up with, Ryan?
Yeah.
I know.
You mean classic of the 90s, One Relic's Return to Righteousness?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I will let you know...
What does it mean?
We only get to know in the season 1 finale. That's when you figure it out. You can't talk about it before then.
No, I think it's like One Piece, where like we're thousands of episodes in and we still don't know what it means.
Uh-huh.
What is the relic? We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We're still looking for it.
One. There's one that's specific there.
All right, so now that we
return
have
us
this
to righteousness.
vibe, we get to kind of deal with our teenager. And so, like we said, there's our IRL teenager and our online teenager. And we have one sheet that is just your teenage self, but some of the questions are going to be about your IRL teenager and some are going to be about your your online teenager. And if I ever say the wrong one, just call me out.
We'll be so many layers deep, we'll have no idea.
Yeah, honestly. We won't even remember anymore.
So the first thing you decide on your character sheet is your real name, which you will never tell to anyone online because you don't want to trust strangers on the internet.
Yeah.
So your real name, this is only given to your most trusted allies and friends in the chat or other people who know you in real life, because sharing information on yourself on the internet is bad and dangerous. That's what our rule book says. So it's, just your name.
Oh my God.
The most 90s name you can think
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in that case, it's like what? Sarah, Amanda, Kayla.
I hate to say it, Allison is really annoyingly up there too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, Kayla's so good. I'm like, did
know,
I have
like,
7 girls
12
named
Kaylas.
Kayla?
Yeah.
I know, in my middle school.
Yeah. It's like my sister, her friend group is like, I swear to God, entirely made up of people named Grace. Like her 3 best friends are Grace, and Gracie. And they are a music teacher, a school therapist, and a music therapist. Like they don't even have unique jobs. Like her boyfriend gets so mad. He's like, I don't know. He's like, they either need to get different names or different jobs because I can't keep track of which one's which.
And we can come back to this one later. It's actually, the name itself is not the most important, but there is like a really intimate act of revealing it online. So like ever telling it to someone is important. But I do like Kayla, mostly because of my middle school classes.
I think I think like I'm gonna go with Sarah because I knew a bunch of Sarahs too. I'll put an H.
I was going to go Sarah too.
Oh, well then you can be Sarah.
I was going to go Sarah without an H.
Oh, okay, so you can be Sarah no
that.
H. Mine had an H, so.
Yeah, so I'll be Sarah Crawford.
Oh, okay.
Without an H.
Good last name. I think it needs to be also something that starts with C. Just like.
So that when everyone, if anyone tries to abbreviate,
be like
Sarah
C. Yeah.
Or
be like my middle school is like, or my high school is like Amy A and Amy B. That's, like we were Amy A and Amy B.
Thinking of like Cook.
Like I think we're gonna go Coolidge after the very cool president Calvin Coolidge.
Oh, I thought we were going Jennifer Coolidge. Also very.
Oh my God, that would be even better.
Also very good.
Yeah, no, Sarah Coolidge.
Perfect. I'm not going to make you do this one now because we're going to do more character development, but I want you to keep it in your mind. You do have to come up with a user, your handle.
Yeah.
Your username, but extremely extra. It can include numbers, symbols, the letter X in uppercase, the letter X in lowercase, underscores, dashes. It should never include your teen's real name because remember, sharing information about yourself on the internet is bad and dangerous.
So you went with Kayla for yours, right? Did you pick a last name?
Oh, would you want me to do this too?
Yes, you should.
Yeah, you got to create a character with us.
Okay, absolutely.
Join us on this magical journey.
Yeah.
Good.
Make
You're going to be
decisions that will
my
have no outcome.
server mod. I'm going to go with Kayla Friedman.
Okay. Love it.
And we can do the handles later because they should reflect something deep and angsty about you.
For sure.
Oh, I already got my handle.
Oh, go ahead.
But XX lowercase uppercase Aria _storm capital X lowercase x.
I appreciate this and
I have one like brewing in my head that's like vaguely based on like one that I used to use when I was a kid, but I'm not ready yet. So
We'll make you
Excuse
reveal your
me.
embarrassing kid ones later just
Yeah.
for fun. So the next question, which we used to get asked a lot online in the 90s.
It was like the first question.
Yes.
Yeah, speaking of not revealing things about yourself.
So if you weren't alive in the 90s, if you hopped on the chat room, the first thing anyone would type at you is A/S/L ? And at that time, it stood for age, sex, location. And we're going to come up with two of these. We're going to come up with your IRL ASL. This is all terms people are going to have to follow along with. And then the ASL you actually answer with, right?
Sure.
So your age for this game should be between 16 and 18. We wanted to make sure that there weren't any like real predatory online relationships because we got a lot of visceral, like, we don't want to play that. So everyone is within a couple years of each other. And we know sex isn't the same as gender, but the 90s was a wild time where we didn't have as much language to deal with things. So just think about what you would want to say or how you would want to say it.
And you didn't have to tell people the truth anyway. So
no, one of the jokes people would put is like, they would put like, age 16, sex, yes please, or like,
right? I know.
No,
I was
thanks.
like, the S was always yes, wasn't it? Like, we were
and like
so
I said,
edgy.
If you wanted to play, we've included articles to like things at the time of how people would respond, and then your location. So your location could be a town or province if you're someone's Canadian girlfriend, for example. It could be your state, it could be your country. Or, and so those are the real ones. And then, but when you're answering online, you could say like, my location is the moon or like Narnia. People would answer in these ways to obfuscate their actual identity. So the first thing is setting our IRL teenager and then thinking about how that IRL teenager presents himself online in ways that are different. And this sounds wild, but the difference between 16 and 18 is a universe.
Huge.
So like junior, senior, like, are you just about to graduate? Like, it's.
Well, I want to point out that like I am going to online say that I'm 17, but in real life I'm only 16 and a half.
Oh, I love that.
Like, this is an important half, you know? Like,
okay.
It matters. It matters.
All right. So your online A is 17. Your IRL A is 16.5. Beautiful. Ryan, do you have any thoughts about Sarah with an H's relationship to her, or don't know pronounce
without an H?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think in real life, IRL, Sarah is a 17-year-old female. And I'm just going to go with the thing I know the most. Appleton, Wisconsin is the actual location.
I love that.
And I think she's a little less guarded about most things, but so she goes 17 female online, but she says she's from the Midwest.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Because you don't want to get too, I remember being online being like, oh, I don't want to say I'm from Montreal because that's like too specific.
Too specific, yeah.
Yeah.
Because our population isn't big in Canada, it would be very, very common to just say, I'm from Canada. And then people would never know.
Yeah, and people in America would assume, like, they'd be like, oh, Toronto, probably. Everyone from Canada is from Toronto, right? Those are like the two places that there are in Canada is like Montreal, Toronto.
I mean, though, you're statistically probably right if you do that.
So I'm like, everybody I know from Canada is like almost all of them are from Vancouver, but
there's the three cities. All right. So I think
I was going to say that like in real life, like I'm 16 and a half, I'm female. And then I put from Racine, Wisconsin.
Oh, Racine's a good poll.
Which is like right on the Wisconsin-Illinois border. But online, I say that I'm 17 female and I say that I'm from Chicago, which is actually about an hour south of Racine. So it's like not far from Racine, but it is in a different state. And Chicago sounds so much cooler than Racine, Wisconsin.
It certainly does.
Yeah. I mean, also, I've been to both of them, and Chicago is, in fact, in real life, way cooler than Racine, Wisconsin.
We could be neighbors.
We could. Yeah. We're only like 3 hours away from each other or something, right? Like 3.5. How far is... Because Racine is about an hour south of me.
Appleton to Wisconsin, it's about 2 hours.
2 hours, yeah. I was like, it's about an hour south of me. So, yeah, that would make sense.
You could meet IRL one day.
Yeah, except
I
you could be
know.
anywhere in the Midwest, and I'm obviously in Chicago, which is in a different
We
state.
both
so.
can obviously drive. We're both 17.
Right. Well, I'm 16 and a half. I can't drive, but
You probably have a car too.
I don't know.
Okay,
In Racine, it
awesome.
feels like you would
At
need
the
one.
age of
Like, where else are you
17.
gonna
I'm going to take a big swing.
go? Mhm.
And my character was going to be 18-year-old F female from Canada. But she says that she is 17 male and then from Cologne, Germany. And so has to pretend
Ooh.
about time zones all the time. And has to like always do math in her head being like, oh, sorry, it's so early in the morning
It's-
here, even when
Yes,
it's not.
I was just eating dinner.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, what, 7 hours off? Something like that?
I would
Mhm.
have to look that up, but it's something she researches.
Yeah. I was like, she knows. I know in
Yeah,
my head, I'm in Central Time right now, and I know that's 6 hours off from London. So
I knew somebody from Indianapolis that said they were from Florida.
Mhm.
And the big tell was daylight savings time doesn't happen in Indianapolis.
oh, because I was
So
like, no,
when
they're both in
DST
Eastern Time. What are you talking about? Oh, but
Yeah,
daylight
yeah.
savings time.
Yeah.
I didn't know that Indy didn't do it.
So like half the year they were in Central Time. And
Yeah.
I'm like, wait a
I didn't
minute,
realize
that
they
doesn't
didn't do
line
that.
up.
That's funny.
One of the things that we've done when we facilitate is like plant things like that in our role play, like plant tells
Yeah.
that people could like maybe catch onto and then cause a big dramatic scene when they find out you're lying.
Yeah, the way people
we
are
do
going to
that.
know that
Mhm.
I'm lying is because I'm going to say bubbler instead of a water fountain one time. And it's going to be a real big problem.
Well, because there are other people from Wisconsin here. They're going to know.
They're going to know. They'll be like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
What do you mean?
If
What do you
they're
mean
from
drinking
Wisconsin.
fountain? What the heck are you talking about?
And so the big question, I think we've answered a bit of it, is like, why is that different presentation happening? Like, why are you pretending to be a little bit older? Why are you pretending to be from a different city? Or why do you feel comfortable being so open online? Those are the questions I'll shoot back at you.
Yeah. I think for Sarah, the difference is just that like one sounds way cooler, right? That like 17 just sounds so much cooler than 16. Cause like also like once you're above like 4, you stop counting the half, you know, like other than 15 and a half when you can get your learner's permit. Like that's like the only time a half matters, right? So like if she like really put 16 and a half, everybody would be like, wow, okay, great. So she's like, I'll just round up at 17. It's close enough, you know, like it's 5 months and 23 days away, right? And then obviously like Chicago just sounds much cooler and, you know, like more interesting than Racine, you know.
I'm gonna say Sarah is very shy and much of a loner in real life at her school. And she sees this new online sort of lifestyle as a way to actually make true friends for the first time.
Yeah.
So she puts herself out there as much as she's comfortable to, so she can try to make an actual connection with actual people and just believing everybody for the most part at face value because she wants to believe that she's making true connections here.
I feel like such a central part of like a game like this, and so much of what we did online too was like, you know, there's this belief that like anybody you met online was faking it and wasn't real, but there were so many of us, you know, like people who didn't know we were queer, undiagnosed neurodivergent people masking all of the time, you know, that like I don't think who I was when I went to school on a daily basis was the real me, like at all, you know? So like this idea of like, am I faking it online or am I faking it in real life? It's like such an interesting thing to explore to me. Like that's...
Be like, back then I thought I was lying, but I wasn't. Like that, who I was online then, even though I thought I was lying at the time, like now that I look back at it, I'm like, it was the first time I got to try on like me outside of societal.
Yeah, it was the first time that there weren't consequences for doing that. So like,
that's sweet. I'm hoping for some great emotional connections. I'm going to say, so Kaylee did something weird, which is actually say she's younger online, which was never what you did because you wanted to be cooler. But she thinks 18-year-old boys are scary. And so she's like, I didn't want to be an 18-year-old boy. And she kind of thinks girls are cute, but they're like, girls only date boys. So she's pretending to be a boy and like a non-threatening little bit younger boy to see like what dating a girl might be like, because that's the only way you can date girls is if you're a boy, right?
Right.
And she's pretending to be from Germany because she wants to be like so far from herself. She's terrified anyone would find out. She's like, she lives in a small town in Canada and doesn't, I think, yeah, I'll go small town. I don't know if I said that before, but I think that's good. And doesn't want anyone to know. She's like, if I put the city, they would find me. Like someone would find me, even though it's irrational. So she's like, I'm a cool German guy who likes the ladies.
Yep.
And you'll never meet anybody because you're in Germany. So
yeah, it's
like,
so expensive. I'm a teenager.
Yeah, I can't fly to the United States where most of this fandom is located.
Yeah.
My mother would never let me.
Mm-hmm.
This is good because we have fake fandom. She might even say she like does fan German subtitles or something for the anime.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
The fan subs. Call to action.
Yeah, like that.
I was really thrilled when Allison reached out to us about this game because we didn't really know about the game previously, but we loved the experience with Allison on Alchemistresses a couple years back, and having her back on the show to showcase this game that is more in her LARP background wheelhouse was exciting. And our first LARP game that we've covered, I believe, since the start of the show. We haven't covered a LARP, a live action role playing game. Even though it's effectively a play by post Discord LARP, it's a little on that line, but it's really cool to learn about this game, the story that we're coming up with, the fandom that we came up with this episode was fantastic, and it continues into next episode wonderfully, and we get into some really great possibilities with this game. So I cannot wait for you to hear all of the other stuff in this series. We have some wonderful discussion, some behind the scenes, like business discussion in our discussion episodes. So that is a lot of good stuff coming out soon. So I will let you go after our calls to action here. We do have a few things that we'd like to make you aware of. And first up, if you missed our live stream for Undying Bonds, we still have the video on demand available for everyone on the One Shot Twitch channel until it expires later this month. If you end up missing that replay, you'll be able to access both the video replay and the audio of the session on our Patreon at the $5 and up level. This version will be slightly more produced to feel more like a podcast episode, but will still have that streaming feel to it, especially if you watch the video itself. We plan on streaming every third Wednesday of every month going forward, so our next planned live stream will be on August 20th at 6:30 p.m. Central US time, and will go until about 8 o'clock that night for 1.5 hours of game design for our Magical Girl meets Necromancer TTRPG, Undying Bonds, right on the One Shot Twitch channel at twitch.tv/OneShotRPG. We have a lot of ideas to go over with one another and a lot of game design left, so it'd be great to see more folks join us to ask questions and comment as we go. If you want to help us out in a more direct way, we would love it if you checked out the C3 Patreon at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. We are so close to our $160 a month goal, which will let us hire someone to do monthly webpage updates to our site at charactercreationcast.com. This would let us add information to pages dedicated to all the games that we're covering on the show, including links to character sheets, links to the episodes, and more. In addition to that, as a thank you, we will create a unique enamel pin for all of our campaign level backers, and if able, we'll get some extra for folks that join up at that level in the future. We are just a little over $5 away from that goal right now. So it's not very far away at all. We just need one $5 patron, one $1 patron on top of that, and we'll get there. One campaign level patron will certainly get us there, and you can help us in that process. If we do get to $200 a month, not only will that unlock yearly subscriptions for our supporters at a discount, it will also mean that we can afford to pay this website person a bit more every month to update the backlog of games on our site. This level is only 5 campaign level backers away, and it would be remarkable if we could get there before the end of the summer. So let's see if we can do that. Joining at the campaign level means you get new stickers for every month that you are a patron, including one of every sticker that we have on hand. And right now, I think that's over 25 stickers that you get for $10 a month. You'll also get a set of 3d6 C3 branded dice that are really great quality from ChessX. You'll also get a personalized thank you card from the both of us, handcrafted by Amelia herself, as well as many other perks. This is all for $10 a month and will go a long way towards helping provide a one-stop shop for any of the games that we cover on the show. We also have tiers at the $5 level, which does net you the dice and our bonus episodes, and the $1 levels that get you various perks as well. So head on over to patreon.com/charactercreationcast to get all the info. In addition to all of that, we'd like to thank our current patrons every episode. Your support truly helps out a great deal, so let's do that right now. Thank you to Lieutenant DJG, aka Tigranosaurus, and Eric Bonds. We are so glad to have you with us. Daryl Holiday II, Shadim Cabal, and the Shyest Barbarian, thank you all so much for your support. Benjamin Sweeney, Rob Fletcher, and Kevin Brown, thank you all so much. Tentacle Duck, John Adamus, and A3 Sketchpad, you shouldn't have, but we're so glad that you did. Cole McCallum, Carlos Salazar, and Eric S., we are so grateful to all of you as well, thank you. Ian Popmeyer, Liam G., and Brian Colm, thanks for making all this possible. Many thanks to Garden GM, Tanglefoot, and Blue Kryptonite. Danny, Nicole Trainer, and Liam Murray, our deepest thanks to all of you. Kenning, Brian Kurtz, and Mark E. Fair, special thanks to all of you as well. Drew Owen, Oz, and James McKinley, we're also so very grateful to all of you. Thank you. Sean Metcalf, Robert, and Kevin Bates, thank you all for your support. And finally, Deadly Edley and Allison Cole, thank you for your continued support. And thank you to all of our future patrons. If you want to join this phenomenal group of individuals, please head on over to patreon.com/charactercreationcast and help us out. And with more assistance, we'll be able to make those website upgrades to make exploring your favorite games that much easier. And if you want to join in the discussion with our hosts, some of our guests, and a bunch of fans, head on over to our Discord at discord.charactercreationcast.com. In addition to all of that, if you want to help us out in another way that doesn't require any money, you can leave a rating or review for our show on Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, or Podcast Addict. We will read every new 5-star review as we get them, and as we both have a chance to record together. That's all we have for today's episode. Join us here next week when we finish up our characters and our characters' characters. You won't want to miss that one. Until then, take care, everyone. Stay safe, drink some water, and keep making those amazing people. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for joining us for part 1 of this character creation series. We'll be back in part 2, picking up right where we left off.
Character Creation Cast is a production of the One Shot Podcast Network and can be found online at www.charactercreationcast.com. Head to the website to get more information on our hosts, this show, and even our press kit. Character Creation Cast can also be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at CreationCast, or on our Discord server at discord.charactercreationcast.com. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Bolter, and I can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Lord Neptune or online at lordneptune.com. Our other host, Amelia Antrim, can be found on Twitter and Blue Sky at Ginger Reckoning. Music for this episode is used with a Creative Commons license or with permission from the podcast they originated from. Further information can be found within the show notes. Our main theme music is Hero Remix by Steve Combs and is used with a Creative Commons license. This podcast is owned by us under Creative Commons. This episode was edited by Ryan Bolter. Further information for the game systems used and today's guests can also be found in the show notes. If you'd like to support our show, find us on Patreon. Get access to bonus episodes, exclusive merch, and much more at patreon.com/charactercreationcast. Thanks for joining us. And remember, we find that the best part of any role-playing game is character creation. So go out there and create some amazing people. We'll see you next time.